Hello guys, it's Istaria here again. Lately I have been very disappointed by the sound quality in my other videos, so I went and invested $9 into a new microphone. I hope it's worth every penny. If you think the sound quality has improved since the last videos, please let me know in the comment section. Anyway, a popular thing to do on various credit card channels over on YouTube is to do a yearly review on what's in your wallet. Since 2021 just begun, I figured this is the perfect time to do this for myself. So we'll go over my wallet, what cards I have in there, why I have them, what I get for them, the kind of benefits they offer, what they cost, and what my plans are for the future. Obviously, the first card is the card that inspired and started my whole credit card hobby journey. Before this card, I had no idea that things like cashback, rewards, and benefits even existed. In fact, I thought that if anybody was buying anything with credit, it just meant that their bank account is empty and they couldn't afford it. Now I know better. The card I'm talking about is of course the Crypto.com MCO Visa prepaid debit card. It has seen a lot of use, despite me not even having it for a whole year at this point. I even bought this very house I'm recording in with this card a bit over half a year ago. Back when I first heard about it, the benefits were a lot worse than they are today, and the price to get it was about the same. In addition, the card did not exist yet, except in hopes and dreams and on paper. Yet it sparked my interest toward getting a permanent discount on everything I buy, and I was instantly hooked. So fast forward 3 years and here it finally is. I am not the kind of flashy guy who would pay extra for nice looking things, but I do admit that it's pretty cool that this card looks so good, and it is also my one and only metal card. I have gone from the initial space gray, which was discontinued before anyone actually got one, to the icy white. The benefits of this card are that it gives me 5% cashback on pretty much anything I buy except gas. It also has the Lounge Key Airport Lounge benefit for me and one friend, which I sadly haven't really gotten to use because of the ongoing pandemic, but looking forward to utilizing that one heavily when the world opens back up. Additionally, benefits include no foreign transaction fees, free Amazon Prime, Netflix and Spotify, of which I don't use any of them, so I am using the card to pay for subscriptions that my friends use, to be a good friend and to get some value out of those perks. There are some really good platform benefits for having this card with the card's program manager, Crypto.com, but those depend on me using the platform and various other factors and are only indirectly tied to the card, so I won't go over those here. The next card in my wallet is the Curve MasterCard. This is actually a pretty unique card in itself, because as you pay with it, it charges the underlying card I have selected in their app. So in a way, it's not really a payment card at all, but more like a middleman payment processor of sorts. Either way, it comes with some real good quality of life and money-saving functionality, which means it's a definite staple in my wallet. First of all, even the free version, which anyone can sign up for, has free currency conversion up to 500 British pounds per month, which is really a lifesaver for these cards, which may otherwise be real good, but would charge a foreign transaction fee, rendering them useless without this one. The second thing that I really like is that for making online purchases, anything you buy with the Curve card can be confirmed in the Curve app rather than via text messages, passwords, or some ancient technology that other cards may be using. You can even change transactions from one card to another in case you accidentally had the wrong card selected in the app at the time of making a purchase. Finally, having the Curve card means that you do not have to carry the bulk of your cards with you, because the actual payment card selection is done in the app by browsing over the card you want to pay with and tapping on it. The third payment card that I have in my wallet is a staple which I guarantee all Finns will recognize. It's the S-Bank Visa debit card, but I don't ever use it for payments. This one gives me 5% back on my groceries as well as 5 cents per liter on gas from a specific chain of stores called the S Group. The cashback stacks with the actual payment card, so I carry it with me when I'm in Finland. It is actually the only loyalty card that is in my wallet. So yeah, that's all the payment cards in my wallet, but we are not done yet. Since I have Curve, there really is no reason for me to keep all of them in my wallet, so here begins the What's in my Curve edition of the video.
In addition to the cards in my wallet, we have the Bank Norwegian Visa credit card. This acts as a go back in time buffer, which allows me to keep my MCO Visa card balance relatively low. This reduces risk because I don't have to keep the primary card topped up with a lot of funds on it. Me and my girlfriend also buy all our travel tickets with this card because they have a pretty good and entirely free travel insurance coverage when you use their card to buy the tickets. Accommodations do not matter, so at least for cheap travel within Europe using the low-cost carriers, the opportunity cost is low, and in my opinion, it's worth it. It actually also has 1% cashback reward in the form of flight points, which allows me to book free travel. These are pretty hard to use, however, even under normal circumstances, because Norwegian has rarely been competitive versus the other low-cost carriers. Currently, the card does not earn any cash back because the airline is under a thorough financial investigation due to its financial troubles caused by the ambitious growth strategy fueled by massive amounts of debt just before the pandemic hit. The next card of note is the Citi Double Cash World Elite Mastercard. Important to note that although it's a World Elite Mastercard, it doesn't have the cell phone insurance that other World Elite Mastercards have. The Citi Double Cash gets 2% cashback on all purchases, which can be turned into Citi Thank You points. These points are valued by the Point Sky at 1.7 US cents per point when redeemed for travel. It doesn't get nearly as good as the MCO Visa card, which gives a cold hard cash equivalent, but good enough for stuff that's not currently covered by it, like gas. I have this card mainly for credit building as well as a backup. It is also my oldest US credit card and third card on the account. It started as a Citi secured MasterCard, graduated to a Citi Diamond Preferred, and I then product changed it to the Double Cash because the perks offered made the most sense. And finally, the card with the longest name ever, the Intercontinental Hotels Group Rewards Club Premier World Elite MasterCard. Now that sure is a mouthful. Unlike the previous World Elite MasterCard, this one actually offers the cell phone insurance, but I don't use it because it requires a payment of the phone bill with the card and I'd miss out on the cashback from my MCO Visa card. If I had an expensive phone, then it would probably be a good proposition, but my phone is a relatively cheap Pocophone F1, so I don't think it's worth insuring it. The IAG card has pretty weak multipliers, so it's not really good for regular spending, but it is still one of my favorite cards by far. The best thing about this card is that simply by having it, I get a free night in a category 1 to 7 IHG property anywhere in the world once per year. I also get Platinum Elite status with the chain, which actually is pretty nice to have because it comes with stuff like complimentary room upgrades and late checkout, which according to Google means checking out at 2 o'clock. I would have expected it to include breakfast, but I guess that's really not a thing with IHG. Anyway, this is a bit of a lifestyle creep inducing card for me because normally I don't really think paying $100 for a hotel room is a sensible choice, especially in the kinds of countries I typically travel to. But as the annual fee of the card is $89, that kind of means that I must be okay with it. Still, the card has benefits beyond just the free night, so in my opinion $89 for the whole thing is actually a great deal and I'll be happy to pay it going forward. It was a pure coincidence that the card just happened to have the all-time high sign-up bonus when I signed up for it. The sign-up bonus I got would typically be valued at around $800, but I think I can easily squeeze more value out of it because by having the card and using points for stays, the fourth night is always free. And I don't expect to ever use the points for stays unless I'm maximizing the value with this fortnight free option, preferably in a low category hotel. This way the points last longer because I'm unlikely to collect a lot of points on top of the ones I already have. So yeah, lots of talk about points, but let's show a real life example and math this up, shall we? Rounding the sign-up bonus to 150,000 points gives me and my girlfriend exactly 20 nights at the cheapest category IHG hotels. I could see us using this in the holiday inns of Skopje, Budapest, Warsaw, Bratislava or Istanbul. I find it unlikely that we'll want a change of scenery before November, because that's about the time the weather starts to be rather depressing. So for the purposes of seeing how much value we might be able to extract, I entered an early November date and checked what kind of prices we would have to pay for staying 4 nights in each of these locations. The value column is a strict calculation from points to cash equivalent, But since by doing this I am giving up at least a 10% discount from a regular booking site and 5% from my MCO Visa card, I have also listed an adjusted value. By looking at the constructed image here, we can easily see the category makes a big difference. Gdansk being twice as expensive in points, but not so much in cash, really makes the point value plummet. So that's all the cards worth mentioning right now. I have a couple other ones, but I don't really use them for anything, so I haven't even bothered to add them to my curve, let alone my wallet. Before we end this video, I'm quickly going to go over my strategy for the rest of the year. First, I want to get a bit more history with Chase Bank, because they don't trust me yet, and probably in May I'm going to apply for the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless card, which is a very similar card to the IAG one, just with a different chain. That too has a free night at a property that is more luxurious than I would normally ever pay for, so it's great for a small luxury break without breaking the bank. Then towards the end of the year, I will apply for yet another Chase hotel card, which would be the World of Hyatt one. Same story as the other ones, free night, but this one actually has good spending multipliers as well. I might find some other use for it besides just stashing it into a drawer somewhere, but the reason I'm grabbing it last from the Chase hotel cards is because the Hyatt free night is probably the hardest one for me to use based on my travel history. Finally, I would really love to get the Hilton Aspire card, but I'm going to wait until American Express throws a targeted 125,000 point sign-up offer my way for their Platinum card. That card isn't that good for me otherwise, but the sign-up bonus will make it worthwhile to keep for at least a year. I can't really go for other American Express cards before they target me, because they are much more likely to consider targeting me if I'm not an existing customer. The Platinum card would also grant access to some lounges that LoungeKey does not, such as the Amex Centurion lounges and Delta Sky Clubs, so it would be good for my airport lounge review series, which I haven't unfortunately gotten to start yet because of how things are right now. If I do get lucky though, that opens the door for applying for the Hilton Aspire, which is an excellent, although expensive card. I am not sure if I'm willing to let that much lifestyle creep into my life, but I'll definitely give it a consideration if the option presents itself.
So that's it for this video. If you liked it, you know what to do, press the like button, all that stuff. And yeah, see you in the next one.